Hey guys, Jeff here with another Dustless Answers video for you today. Today we are going to go over the CutBuddies. We have the 5-inch, the 7-inch in the original CutBuddie, and we have the CutBuddie LT. That is part numbers D1730, D1750, and D0730. So we're going to go over these today. We're going to do some installation back on the workbench, and we'll tell you all about the CutBuddies. Okay, so when you open your package up, the 5-inch CutBuddie and the 7-inch CutBuddie, the original CutBuddies, they will come with the same things inside the package. That will include the 3 plastic spacers, different thicknesses on those 3. It will come with a releasable zip tie. That is so that you can tie your hose to your grinder so it doesn't wiggle around on you. And then it'll come with the arbor extender. Also, it includes the 18-inch hose in the CutBuddies. In the CutBuddie LT, it will come with, of course, the 3 plastic spacers. It will come with an arbor extender. And the CutBuddie LT comes with a stepped adapter that can go from your hose to the port. So that's what comes in the box with all of the CutBuddies. Okay. So with the CutBuddies, some of the things that we hear, some of the questions, comments that we hear about the CutBuddies is, of course, it doesn't suck up the dust well enough. Again, this is a proper application of having enough vacuum with enough CFM to make sure you're collecting the dust. On the smaller CutBuddies, the 5-inch and the 6-inch here, 125, 130 CFM on your vacuum is enough to collect that. If you get to the bigger grinders, the bigger 7-inch grinders that take the bigger CutBuddie, the 7-inch CutBuddie, that will take a little more CFM in your vacuum. So you've got to make sure that you have enough CFM in your vacuum to collect the dust. If you're running a 7-inch CutBuddie on the big 7-inch grinder, you have a vacuum that only has 100 CFM, you're not going to collect the dust very well. So make sure that your vacuum and the CFM works together in conjunction with the CutBuddie and the size that you're using. Another thing that we get is poor performance, and that comes with proper use. And so when you have your CutBuddie, and we'll show you this once it's installed, what you want to do is you want to start with the leading edge forward. You want to plunge, you set that down, then you plunge your blade down, then you work forward. And that is the way how you collect the dust the best. Start with the leading edge down, plunge the blade, and then work forward. Okay, so a couple of differences between the original CutBuddie and the CutBuddie LT. On the original CutBuddie, this is a more professional grade shroud. You've got metal runners on the bottom, a little more durable. We also have on the side here, we have depth gauges. There's little holes and a little button. All you do is press that button and you can adjust the depth of how deep you want that cut to go or how shallow you want that cut to go. And then you just set that depth by releasing that button and it's hooked in space right there. So it has depth adjustments on the original CutBuddies. The other great thing about it, of course, it's in that clear material so that you can see what you're doing, so you can see where you're cutting. Right up front there is a guide, an indicator of your central location on your blade so that you can see where you're cutting. Also, it has an open face design so that it's easy to get your blade in and out and install the blade. So those are a few of the features that make it a little bit different than the CutBuddie LT. The CutBuddie LT still has the same mounting bracket system as the original CutBuddie. Only difference is there is no depth adjustment. There is no metal runners on the bottom for durability. And to get your blade on the CutBuddie LT, there's simply a slit right there. You just open it up and slide your blade in. And we'll show you that when we install it. But that's a couple of differences in the CutBuddie original and the CutBuddie LT. Okay, so first we want to show you how you mount the CutBuddie LT. Of course, we've got a Metabo, we got a Milwaukee, we got a Makita, And of course, our shrouds are designed so they're very universal and they fit most major brands, so that you can mount up to anything. We don't know what you have in your truck, but we can mount up to it because we're universal. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to mount the shroud to the grinder. Okay, so to install this, all you're going to need is a flat nose screwdriver. Again, they mount very universal, very easily. First thing you're going to do is you're going to want to open this up as far as you can get it so that you can go over the collar on the grinder. Again, there's different gaps or grooves in these grinders. This one sits here very low on this Metabo. On this Milwaukee, it's a little higher. So on that collar, there's a groove, and that's what these ridges on the CutBuddie, on the mounting bracket, that's what that is going to set into and clamp down to make it tight. So open this up, make it as big as you can so you can get it over that collar. Easy way for me to do, set it on the counter so that I don't have to hold it, and then just work it until it goes on and it's nice and in tight. Everything looks good. You want to make sure the port is running along parallel with your grinder, and it all looks good. Once you've got that, you just tighten it down with your flat nose screwdriver. Once that's on there good and tight, got that on there good and tight, you want to make sure that your arbor is in the center of the hole of the CutBuddie. This one's just off just a little bit, so we're going to loosen this up just a hair. And we're going to wiggle it around till it's centered where we want it to be. Then we're going to tighten it back down to finish it off. Now that's good and tight. Arbor is centered in the hole inside the CutBuddie, and it looks good. The reason we want that hole centered is once you put your blade on, if your hole is too far off to one side or your arbor is too far off on one side of your hole, it will put your blade off center, and you may get some rubbing or some cutting on your shroud if that is not centered. So make sure that the arbor is centered inside the hole. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to install your cutting blade, whether it be a blade for tuck pointing or cutting or whatever it might be, whatever you're doing, whatever you're cutting with, you want to install your blade. So if you just take your blade and you put it on the arbor at this point, you can see how it sits clear down on the shroud and there's no clearance. And so you've got to be able to lift that blade up so that it's in the center of the shroud. So that's when you install the arbor adapter. Take that nut off and you screw your arbor adapter on. And you roll that down to the bottom and you make sure you lock it down and make sure it's good and tight so it's locked in there. Then you can take your blade and you can slide your blade on, and at this point we want to look at it and see if that blade is sitting in the center this way of the shroud. It looks really good at that point. It's in line with your line marker, your center mark. Everything looks pretty good. If it was setting way low still, that's when you could take your plastic spacers and put those spacers on before your blade to push it out so it's centered on that shroud. Then just take your nut, you screw that down, make sure it's good and tight. Again, you want to hit your locking button on the back of the grinder and lock it and make sure it's good and tight, and your CutBuddie is installed. So easy installation on that CutBuddie LT. I will show you on the bigger 7-inch with the original CutBuddie. Same process, very easy to install, just a little bit different application with the open front design. On this 7-inch grinder, it's going to be the same process, same application. You're going to want to start by opening this up as big as you can get it so that you can install it on the collar of your grinder. Once you got that installed, make sure it's pretty close to centered. Then you're going to take your screw and you're going to tighten your with your screwdriver, you're going to tighten it down. And check it. It looks pretty good, pretty close. Everything looks pretty good. That one was a pretty easy installation. So now with the CutBuddie installed, and it's in the center, what we want to do is we want to push the button down on the CutBuddie. We want to open that face up and get it out of the way. Then we can take our blade and we can mount it. Okay, so now what we do is, again, if we put this blade on, it has a little knockout. You can take that out. This blade would set way back to the back and rub on the shroud again. So we're going to need to use the arbor extender again. Take that nut off. Screw your arbor extender on. Again, pushing the button down. Make sure it's good and tight. Then you can mount your blade on. So you go to put your blade on, you realize, wait a minute, that arbor extender stuck that out there way too far. It's past the shroud. So what the heck do we do? That doesn't work. So we take that arbor extender back off, because that doesn't work. Peel that arbor extender on, and we'll put our spacers on. Okay, once we get those spacers on, depending on how many we need to get that right back into the middle. Now, once we've got that knockout knocked out, it's too loose on there, and that doesn't work. We'll put that knockout back in there so that it's a smaller hole, and then we're able to install that right there perfectly. Okay, once that's in there, that looks pretty good for centered with those two. Then we'll tighten it down. Okay, once you've got that blade on and you've used the spacers necessary to make sure it's in the center of that shroud, so it's in line with the center of the shroud, then you just take your nut that came, the original nut that came with the grinder, and you tighten it back on, holding the button down and making sure we're tight. You close up the CutBuddie, and you are ready to go. Okay, so now that you've got your CutBuddies installed, we'll show you the final steps. Very easy on the CutBuddie LT. You've got your stepped adapter. It goes in the port of your shroud, and then your vacuum hooks up right to the end of that stepped adapter. Really easy, really simple to use. On the bigger one, on the regular CutBuddie, you have the 18-inch hose. This is really handy because it helps get things backing out of the way a little bit. 18-inch hose just goes right in the port. And then you take your releasable zip tie, and you can zip tie your hose back here to your handle so it's out of the way and doesn't flop around. And then the hose just hooks right in to the base of that 18-inch hose. It's all hooked in, all beautiful, out of the way, and ready to use. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the CutBuddie and learned something new about the CutBuddie, how to use it. Again, once you have it installed, proper application for use is you start with the leading edge down, you plunge to the back so that it's all setting flat, and then you work forward on your cuts. Proper use will definitely help you collect all the dust and not have any escape on you. But if you have any questions about any of our products, about this product specific, put it in the comments. If it's about another product, we'll try to do a video for that other product to help you understand the other products that we have. If you have any comments, like I said, put them in the comments below. If you are not subscribed to our channel, make sure you subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. We're putting out a lot of great content for you guys. Hit that little notification bell so you get notifications of when new videos come out for you. And other than that, guys, remember, make it dustless.